Hello, how's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Tomorrow, Sunday, Arsenal play against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, a place where we haven't lost, I'm not gonna lie, for 6 years. So that is kinda, not gonna lie, quite fantastic. But obviously, there have been some different circumstances on every given time when we have played them. Obviously, last year as well, we barely scraped a draw due to Sanchez's mistakes and other situations that basically at the end went in our favor, because until Sanchez made that mistake, they were near almost perfect, let's be real. But obviously, Arsenal for this weekend has more or less for me a judgment day for Mikel Arteta. Obviously, if you know, you know, I'm Arteta out. I'm sick of tired of all of this, but let's see what's gonna happen also tomorrow, because tomorrow is a big game. We could maybe, if we get lucky, kind of try and get back in the race, but seems unlikely, I'm not gonna lie. Or we can completely fall out of it and we basically will be on a top 4 race, and if we are not careful enough, even that could be a bit of a stretch, if you know what I mean. So definitely we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about potential Edu Gaspar replacements, because there are some replacements being basically rumored about in terms of sporting directors for Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie, it's looking pretty bleak. It's genuinely looking pretty bleak. It does look like the club is serious. It's basically a job for the boys, if you know what I mean. And some other instances, transfer rumors and stuff like that, everything surrounding Arsenal. So if you're ready for that, don't forget to smash thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, all that good stuff, trying to get to 400 subscribers before the end of this calendar year. And of course, if you want to chat about something, talk, give your opinion, don't forget to get live interactive in the chat. And if you're watching this as a playback, leave down a comment below. I pretty much answer to every single comment that gets put out there. So what we gonna kick things off basically is potential replacements for Edu Gaspar. And one of them that basically started to circle around yesterday is West Ham technical director Tim Steiten, a German basically, if you can tell. Could be in the running for the place to replace Edu. His face alone in this image just looks like he's not pleased already with Arsenal, with everything, how they're playing. It's weird, but it is what it is. But Arsenal will take their time before deciding how to replace Edu, and the club are adamant it will not affect the way they operate, as they already have a strong executive team in place. So basically, they're gonna take their time. They're gonna try and look for the best option available. There are two worries for me with this, to be honest, because the other people we're gonna talk about is job for the boys, because we are a family and all that crap. So definitely not excited about that. But this guy, if you look at face value from West Ham, it's very interesting, because as the comment says a bit below here, he signed Somerville, Fulkrug, Van Bissaka, Guido Rodriguez, for West Ham. Obviously, West Ham are struggling this season. I think Somerville was a decent signing for them. Fulkrug, there are rumors that Dortmund are happy that they got him off their hands. At the same time, there are rumors saying that he was one of the main catalysts why they signed Fulkrug. He kind of persuaded them. Obviously, Van Bissaka and Guido Rodriguez. But on top of that, about this guy, about Tim Steiten, right? Here are some players Tim Steiten signed at the club as a sporting director when he was at Werder Bremen and Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously, it's highlighting the best players, because we don't know all the bad ones. And here they are. He signed Patrick Schick, very decent. Arsenal were linked with him at some time. Moussa Diaby, also Arsenal were linked with him some time ago. At the moment, he is at Al Ittihad in Saudi. Serge Gnabry, from the time when Arsenal sold Serge Gnabry, by the way, straight through to Werder Bremen. How mad is that? Florian Wirtz as well. Kevin De Bruyne, Thomas Delaney, Mitchell Bakker. That is not the best signing, but it is what it is. Piero Hincapi, Edmund Tapsoba, Jeremy Frimpong, and Jiří Pavlenka for goalkeeper spot. So overall, these are his best signings when he was a sporting director in Germany, for Werder Bremen and for Bayer Leverkusen. As probably you can tell that as soon as he gets some more money, he can get some more decent signings in. At the time, some of these signings obviously were questioned for the clubs, but ultimately they have become very, very successful. Some more than others, obviously. KDB obviously is the centerpiece of that. Looking at Bayer Leverkusen, how they play, how Xabi Alonso has got them running. Obviously, Edmund Tapsoba was fantastic, Hinkapi was fantastic, Frimpong definitely one of their main guys, Verts, let's be real, let's not even kid about that, Musa Diaby was one of the main catalysts, and of course Patrick Schick as well. So definitely he has gotten some good signings, but if we judge him from the latest signings he has made, obviously it has been for West Ham, and he signed Van Bissaka, Somerville, Fulkrug. It's not looking the best, and I'm not gonna lie, we are happy. We are happy that obviously he left. Well, happy or many people also don't care that he left. It is what it is that Edu left, but we need to act like a serious club and finally get a proper director in, and we just cannot have this. We just genuinely cannot have this when we sign another mediocre sporting director and stuff like that if we want to stay at the top and even push forward. So this is very, very underwhelming at the moment. Bigga BBK Sports, what website app you're using for your pitch layout? I'm not gonna lie, I'm streaming from OBS, straight out of OBS, and basically I have just a custom made layout. Genuinely, as you will say here, see overlay, I can turn it off and on. It's basically just an overlay I've made with basically a cutout transparent, so I can put in there a link or a picture or whatever I want. And same goes for camera, because if I turn off my face cam, it's also just a cutout which is transparent, so I can put in there what I want. I don't stream from StreamYard, although I would like to try and test this out, because I see many people stream from StreamYard and it kind of arguably requires less effort in the terms of switching maybe through links and stuff like that, because it opens up a bit bigger. It's also easier to edit in a sense that, for example, if I do this right here, if I basically zoom in a bit, right, it gets bigger, and if I want it to change, I have to manually adjust it. As you can see, I have to manually, for example, go there, then cut it and everything. I need to kind of do that, and that is definitely something I kind of don't. It has some advantages here or there, but definitely there are also some drawbacks which I want to kind of ridicule and change. So at the moment I'm just streaming from OBS straight up, and for me StreamYard would be more useful as well if I could get some people on, if I could chat about them, do some type of podcast type of thing for an hour or so, discuss certain opinions, previews, reviews, stuff like that. But basically what I think in terms of that, I think it's all in due time. For me, it's all in due time. I think for me it's a bit too early, because I cannot get consistent. I can get consistent schedule. It's just a question whether many people can join, because many people stream during days. They have different times, and managing it would genuinely be hell on earth in that sense. Generally, would be very hard. But ultimately, I stream from OBS in that instance. I don't stream from StreamYard. I just have a layout custom made in Adobe, and that's it. Genuinely, that's it. In Photoshop, and that's about it. And then I basically go from there. There are some news also came out about some of the most valuable clubs in the world, and quite ironically enough, in top 10 there are 6 Premier League sides. Real Madrid obviously being the number 1 team, Barcelona number 3rd, City the 2nd, United, Liverpool. United stink at the moment, and they still are more valuable than Arsenal. It just shows the stature of Manchester United, the establishment they have over the years. Arsenal are 8th, which is actually quite high. We are above Chelsea as well, and let's be real, if Chelsea can get their stuff together, sooner or later they will overtake us in that regard. But if we are 8th most valuable football club in the world, definitely we can do something with that. Maybe we can use it to get some better players, get some better instances, because it's actually kinda wild. Genuinely, it's wild that we are at the moment 8th most valuable club in the world, yet we act like we are 600th biggest club in the world, with trying to make net profit in transfer windows. That's how wild and bad it is. Yesterday also I was scrolling through some stats. I don't do that too often, but I do it just to keep tabs on how everything is going. And Opta Analyst has analyzed the way where should Arsenal and other teams be based on their performances, put out stats, XG, and stuff like that. And it is quite insane actually if you come to think about it, in my opinion. Now, if I can cut it. If I see, this is the reason why I would love to have StreamYard, so I don't have to do stuff like this, for example. But yeah, as you can see, Arsenal currently are sitting 5th in the table. 5th in the table, played 10 games, and 5 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses. Now, that is the total. This is the actual. Now, what is expected based on Arsenal's performances, us sitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th. Expected position is 9th, based on our goal output, chance creation, finishing, points, and assists. Our expectations is for us to be 9th. And that actually kind of stands actually realistic reason, in my opinion. Given that we haven't been the best throughout the whole season, we have had one good game, that was against PSG, one good half, that was against Liverpool, but besides that, we have been struggling quite a bit. It has been very poor, very awful performances. Obviously, it comes down to Mikel Arteta, comes down to the players, recruitment, and everything overall. But yeah, they are expected if you take stats into account, to be 9th. And not gonna lie, I can see it. That should be the case. Because we are now 1-4, and finally the results are catching up to our performances. We tend to get a bit lucky sometimes, maybe a bit unlucky against Brighton and teams like that, but overall, the performances were not there to justify that we are, well, at the moment 5th, obviously, in the table. So that is actually, I think, pretty accurate, because based on performances and the way we are getting some goals and the results, we shouldn't be as high as we are. Because we arguably should have lost certain games, which we won. Could argue we should have won the game against Brighton, but it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. An ultimately predicted one before the season was that we're going to finish third. The predicted one at the moment is that we're going to finish third still, if we can get our act together. Chances of a title is less than 4%. Man City and Liverpool are pretty much tied based on the performances, and to be honest, rightly so. Genuinely, rightly so. So obviously that remains to be seen what's going to happen with that, where this is going to go. But based on the stats and everything, they all indicate that Arsenal should be 9th, when in real life, we actually are sitting 5th in the table. So basically, what that means, we are overachieving quite a bit at the moment. Now the question is, can we finally string enough games together we can find out solutions to actually live up to the proper predictions that we should be finishing at least 3rd in the table. But even though if we finish 3rd in the table, Arteta should go, because that's not progression, that's regression. And Liverpool in one season has overtaken us instantly. And that should not be the case, especially if we don't win anything. It could get quite peak for Arsenal in general, if we look at things like that. In other news, some more sporting news. This time it's not about Gyökeres or Ruben Amorim or players like that. Apparently Arsenal, according to Team Talk, have held talks with the agents of Giovanni Quenda, with the 17-year-old sporting winger also targeted by Manchester United, to be honest, not shocked, by City and Liverpool. Apparently he's one of those new hot prospects in the world, in the European football. Now the question, he's very young. I would assume he is a winger, because there's no other reason for Arsenal to go for him. Yeah, he's a right winger, so Arsenal, technically he could be a backup for Bukayo Saka. In 10 games, he has 1 goal, 1 assist. He can play either wing, more or less. Hasn't had the best output so far this season, but it looks like Arsenal again are starting from phase 1 with the youth project. It feels that way. But at a stage where we are, it's all fine if we go and try and sign him, right? Still, we need to sign a proper backup for Bukayo Saka. We cannot do this. It's a youngster, 17 years old, long-term plan, I get it. But still, we are in a place where we cannot partially afford to get young players in, like 20 and younger, and let them grow. We can do this simultaneously by having proper players in, but we need to go in, buy proper players, backups, proper world-class level starters, and just go for it. We are where we are. We don't have this young talent time anymore. We are not in phase 1. That signing, for example, Quenda, would be great in phase 1, when we have just started, when he has just taken over. Then he would have time to develop, to play, and see where we stand with him. But if we sign him now and play him as a main backup for Bukayo Saka, obviously he can prove to be world-class, and, well, not world-class, but be very excellent with bright future. But might as well then kept Reece Nelson, for example, and then sign him and maybe loan him out or do something else. So signing these youngsters is all cool long-term, but at the moment, I don't think it's the best course of action for Arsenal, especially since Sporting would demand about 25 to 30 million at least for him. So it's not looking that great. And obviously, we just spoke about Tim Stadling, ten Vonten Wonderbar. Steiten, what that guy. And there are two more options for Arsenal to replace Edu Gaspar with. And those are Tomasz Rosicki and Per Mertesacker. Now, as I said, it's job for the boys when it comes to Arsenal. That's what it feels like. For me, no chance in hell either of those should be getting the job. No chance in hell. I can see I can see Tomasz Rosicki more because he's the sporting director in Sparta Prague at the moment, but they are already 10 points behind Slavia Prague in Czech League. They're not doing that great because the main opponents are Slavia and they're just destroying them. But overall, yeah, I don't want a team where basically you get in players because you know them. It's job for the boys. It's friendship basically. It's like there was a time, obviously, when during the crisis in 2010s and everything, when many people couldn't get jobs, and the only way they could get jobs in real life was through basically knowing someone who works there. And I have gotten a job that way as well. At the time, that was the case. And at the moment, it feels like Arsenal are operating that because obviously Per Mertesacker is in the system. He's overseeing everyone in the under youth and everything, so that could make sense. But at the same time, he doesn't have too much experience in this regard. Same goes for Tomasz Rosicki. Yes, it's great you're doing this at Sparta Prague. Yes, you have played for Arsenal, but ultimately you are not it. You are not it, especially where we are at the moment. If we were, let's just say, championship or crap like that, okay, cool. But we are, at the moment, we should be fighting for the title. We should be instantly up there. We should be signing world-class players because that's what we got told when we moved to Emirates. That's what we got told when Kroenke totally and fully took over. Be excited. Time to win something. And yet Arsenal are the only, well, in terms of USA, franchise, but the only club that Kroenke's own that has not won anything. All the teams in Colorado, they have won something. Nuggets, NBA title. Avalanche, NHL title, Stanley Cup. Colorado Rapids have won the MLS and stuff like that. Even I think their lacrosse or whatever the team, they have the fourth one. They also have won a title. And Arsenal are the only team that they own that has won nothing. Especially in the recent times. So at the moment, we cannot afford to have these so-called job for the boys family type of situations. We are football friends, and all that crap. This cannot fly anymore. Because there has to be a point where we take sentiment out of the equation. Same goes for quite a bit of players in our team. There should not be an instance that, oh, he's a good motivator in the team. Oh, he has good relationships with the players. He keeps the morale up high. That's why we won't sell him. At some point, this sentimental value has to go. Because ultimately also, football is football, let's be real. But at the end of the day, for a certain level, it's also a business. And you need to do what's your best for business in this instance. And it's cut your losses on certain instances or get rid of the things that's holding you back. Either it's a bad employee, either it's some deficiencies in the system or something like that. And signing people in such high roles, like Per Mertesacker at the moment, I don't think he's ready. He doesn't have too much experience. Same goes for Tomasz Rosicki. That Tim Steintant or whatever his name was also, he can be one, but he's also for Arsenal not good enough again. I just want the standards to be here. Not Arsenal always doing the bare minimum, like playing limbo, trying to get below, under the line that's been set up. You have to go below it and basically try to get by. I want the standards to be up here and expectations to be also up there, if not even higher. Just go for it. Do the right things. Not get this job for the boys type of situations where people with minimal experience or no experience whatsoever, or people who have experience but have done mediocre job get the thing. Because we just got rid of one of those. Arguably, he left himself because he got sick of Mikel Arteta's dictatorship at the club. Let's be real. And why we would want to sign the same type of player, same type of sporting director? Why? Because we do this already with the players. We get rid of mediocre subpar players and we sign on many occasions mediocre subpar players. So why we would do that also in sporting directors type of role? It's just embarrassing at this stage. Arsenal need to wake up. Kroenkes need to wake up. But as long as most likely we will be in top 4, we won't drop out of your Champions League spots and we will be up there, they will do nothing. Because that was also with Wenger. Wenger mostly got sacked because the wheels were slowly falling off, but he basically got out of Champions League. We finished in Europa League. The money flow from Champions League stopped. And then there needed to be change. As soon as it started to hit their pockets, everything started to the wheels started to turn in certain aspects of the club running. And I don't think genuinely until that happens again or something major happens, like we finish 4th and Liverpool win the league and Spurs overtake us and stuff like that, nothing big also will happen. Remember 3 years ago, well 2.5, when Arsenal finished 2nd for the first time, when we were 8 points clear, Mikel Arteta in pre-season interview before the second season we finished 8th said that he contemplated resigning. It was such a tremendous loss, such painful loss, that he didn't know he will have in him to continue. And obviously Arsenal, he continued with Arsenal, we finished 2nd again. And that statement never has been brought up again in the media whatsoever. It's like, again, they have goldfish memory, they pick and choose what they want to tell, what they want people to see, and totally forget these instances. Because if you have had this thought, it means that there has been something that would suggest to you that you're not good enough. Something inside you is telling that. And will it happen again? Will he just think about it again? Will it happen properly again? I don't know. But there has to be something to it as well. Will he? I generally even though Arteta is very stubborn and very controlling and arrogant and stuff like that, how it feels like, I think he's also a guy who has some principles. I genuinely believe that he will have some cojones to resign himself if he feels that something's not right. I genuinely believe that in that instance, he will have the case. At the moment, he won't, let's be real. But if it comes to the second part of the season, for example, at the end of the season when something has happened, we might see that. I genuinely think we might see that. But obviously, time will tell what's going to happen. Who knows? By the end of the season, maybe we win something like FA Cup and Carabao Cup. Who knows? But hey ho, here we are. In other news, and if this happens, there might be riots, I'm not gonna lie. Then I would do Arsenal rant emergency stream so quick, solely based on this signing. Apparently, Randall Kolo Muani could be allowed to leave PSG in January, so in less than 2 months, for as little as 40 million euros, which is about 35 million pounds or so. And Arsenal and Manchester United have been cited as potential destinations according to L'Equipe. Also, on top of that, there are talks that also Everton might take him on loan and stuff like that. Now, let's get this straight out of the way. I don't want to see this player at Arsenal whatsoever. I don't. He's basically a lankier French Edin Nketiah. That's how I see him. PSG bought him for about 70 to 80 million and stuff like that. No chance in hell I want him at Arsenal. He had a chance to win France the World Cup. He didn't. Obviously, Martinez made one brilliant save. Memi Martinez, by the way, another goalkeeper who should be at Arsenal, and Arsenal wouldn't have spent extra 75 to 80 million signing different random goalkeepers and scrambling to find the right one. Let's just keep that in mind. But I don't want to see Randall Kolo Muani nowhere near Arsenal. Hell no chance in hell. If this happens, yeah, I might rather not say. It could get peak on this channel. Genuinely could get peak. Big up coach in the chat. Big up, big up, big up. Have you seen Man City line up some 19-year-old kid partnering with Walker at center back? Is that the guy called the lady part way, the pussy? Is it called the pussy? Is it that guy? How come we can't play Ethan and Skelly tomorrow? Well, it's Mikel Arteta. It's either or. It's Mikel Arteta or it's under 21s. I actually have no idea. Not gonna lie, today I haven't checked any Arsenal news. I'm gonna do that in a second. Bear with me here. Told you about Muani 2 weeks ago. Exactly. I said no 2 weeks ago. I said no during summer, and I will keep saying no until this rumor basically dies. Genuinely, I don't want these rumors being linked with Arsenal in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. No chance in hell. And if it comes to life, Arsenal might as well pack things up and finish as a top 4, maybe top 6 team, because let's be real, he is not it. He genuinely is not it. Obviously, our women's team won 5-0 against Brighton today. That was fantastic. Arsenal player of the month this season. Bukayo Saka, David Raya, Bukayo Saka. Well, no shock there. Anything else? Ooh! Arsenal believe finding the right sporting director and putting them in the position could realistically take a year. A year! If that person has to serve a notice period in the present role. The club are highly unlikely to consider a former player for the role. That would be fantastic. If we don't get Mertesacker, Rosicki, people like that in the role, if we go actually for proper specialist, a proper sporting director, I'm all for it. Go for that cheeky guy that left Man City or someone like that. Go for a proper one. The girl who was in charge of Chelsea, she was proper badass in that regard as well. But yeah, if that person has to serve a notice period in the present role, that's the thing. It will take a year, so it takes 6 months for Edu to leave. Basically, we are paying him for 6 months, so that will be till summer, which means Arsenal might not actually have a proper transfer plan for the summer. Mind you, I have very small trust that at the moment Arsenal have any transfer plans for January as well, given that Edu is gone. He's just basically chilling at home, sucking toes, cooking on his barbecue for 6 months while Arsenal just count the money in his pocket and he has to do nothing. So at the moment, it's looking hella peak for Arsenal, isn't it? No sporting director. Is there a plan for transfer window? God knows. No idea whatsoever. Now, any other news surrounding Arsenal? I want to see because I haven't checked too much. We're going to get into Mikel Arteta's press conference in a second. That will be peak. Yeah, this statement is genuinely nuts. This statement... the team plays the way we played tonight there. We can go to Chelsea, we can win. Last year we played against much awful Chelsea and we barely scraped a draw. So I'm not putting too many eggs in that basket at the moment, I'm not gonna lie. Genuinely not gonna lie, that's looking pretty bleak. Is it my connection or anyone else buffering? I don't know, I'm looking fine. I'm looking at my stream at the same time also. So my bitrate is stayed the same. I haven't dropped frames even one since I've been live, and I'm watching this at the moment also on my phone, and there is nothing happening. Just putting it out there. Might be you, maybe lower quality or something like that. Maybe Wi-Fi is acting up a bit. Might be the case. Just saying. But I think it's time. It's time for Cone Man music. Let's see what type of waffle he has cooked up for us today. Will we be left hungry or will we be overflowing with syrup and waffles before the Chelsea match? Yeah, big up, no worries, man. He spoke about injuries, our current form, what we need to do to improve it, the improvements of the Blues, and much more. Let's see what he has said. On whether Declan Rice will be available, I have to be very vague on that because there's no clarity on whether he's going to be fit for the weekend. Whether he has a broken toe, that's for the doctor. What I can say is that he hasn't trained yet. That was yesterday, obviously, so today could be a bit different. And not clear whether he's going to be available for not to play. Now, this will sound very controversial, arguably, but I don't want Declan Rice to play tomorrow. I've played with a broken toe myself, through massive painkillers, injections and stuff like that, and even then it's not pleasant, I'm gonna tell you that much. But the thing is, if your opposing side knows that you have a broken toe and you playing through it, the first thing I'm saying to my team in the dressing room is target that leg, target that toe, and get him off the pitch pretty much instantly. That would be the first thing I would say. If Arsenal and Arsenal top gooners, Arteta only fans, Arteta sexuals want to praise him for dark arts, then praise other team for the dark arts that they exploit a weakness in the team. Because basically you are as strong as your weakest link in the team. And if Declan Rice, as good as he is, plays with a broken toe, you could make an argument that he is the weakest link because he will get targeted. And that would be a message I would send in the dressing room for my team if I played against a player with a broken toe. Not to mention, it could get worse. You can make that injury much, much worse as well. Just one awkward landing, you have to shoot the ball. You cannot even shoot the ball then if you have a broken toe properly. So that is the case in that regard for me. If Martin Odegaard could start, everybody that is in the squad, okay, that's basically every single answer. Every in the squad who is training, who is available, fit to start a game will play. It's up to him to make that step. Okay, he says that's about every single goddamn player, so who the hell cares? If Kai Havertz and Mikel Merino are okay, we have to wait until tomorrow to see how they react. That's basically till today, because the interview was yesterday. Kai had quite a nasty cut and he could not continue. The big question is, did he get a concussion on any sort of level? Because if he got some indications of a concussion or anything like that, although I haven't seen anything about it, but if there is any worry about concussion, no chance in hell he should be playing, which means we must play then Jesus at striker, and it's already getting peak then. With Mikel Merino, to be fair, the day before he wasn't feeling great and we decided to sub him at halftime. So basically, no news on Mikel Merino. He got subbed off at halftime because he was not feeling well as well. So basically, Declan Rice might not play, Kai Havertz might not play, Mikel Merino might not play. It's not looking too good, is it then? Or whether he's had to lift the players after recent results. When you don't win, it affects the mood, energy, and be positive. The thing is that it's impossible that anyone in this room or outside wants to win more than I do and these guys in the dressing room want to do. Today, I had a meeting with them and I can sense it straight away. Blah, 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 blah. What I sense all this belief about how good we are as a team. And again, what we did in Milan, watching it back twice, I hadn't seen my team doing that against them. What, scoring goals? We haven't scored away goal in Champions League for what, four this year at all. What you haven't seen before, scoring goals or what? But you need to take that into a winning football match because in the end, it's the only thing that anybody is going to judge. To be honest, that's true. Arsenal had 20 shots, I think it was. Was it the game? Or am I tripping? Arsenal had a lot of shots. They didn't score, right? They didn't even pose a certain threat. Had 46 goddamn crosses, 13 corners, set piece FC and all that crap. And we had genuinely F all to show for it. They had 7 shots, 1 on target, 1 goal. That's how Inter Milan did it. Even if you look at the Newcastle stats, we looked at it after Newcastle game. Newcastle had 7 crosses, 1 successful cross, and they scored from that cross. That's all it takes. 1 opportunity, 1 chance. Will you make it count or let it slip? Yo, mom's spaghetti and all that stuff. Eminem settings, you know, guys. So ultimately, yeah, Arsenal basically are... I don't even want to get into it once again. Whether he can use our similar experiences last season to go on a run. Well, there's no Dubai trip to eat someone else's meat, so that could be a bit problematic. The results probably very similar, but the concept is very different because you tend to forget what you lost full game against Bournemouth, what happened, what we didn't win against Liverpool, or the amount of situations we had to go through it. It does not matter in the end, and we cannot go to Dubai for a week. Like we did last time, we can go to Dubai still for 2 days. If that's the solution, we'll go forward and backward. Yeah, cool. Dubai. It hopefully, when you're going to do watch along, will help to grow the. I don't know. I genuinely don't know at the moment. Maybe over time, but at the moment I just cannot. At the moment I cannot. I did one. It did semi-good, I'm not gonna lie. I have done 1 watch-along. I think it was against Wolves. We played the first game of the season. After that, I haven't done one since, but time will tell. Time will tell. Might do some later watch-alongs, maybe for UCL, but for Premier League, it's a bit iffy for me personally, because all the circumstances have to fall in line, and with family and everything, with the things I have to do now, especially with year coming to an end, with parties and everything I have to organize and stuff like that. It's a bit too like vague at the moment. It's time consuming and it's very hard. On whether this game is a must-win given the teams, especially because we have missed certain points in the last few weeks. We have got 1 point in the last 3 games in Premier League. 1 point out of 12. 1 point out of 9, sorry. In the last 3 games, 1 point out of 9. We lost to Bournemouth, drew against Liverpool, and we lost to Newcastle. So 1 point in 9 games. So tomorrow's game, without shadow of a doubt, is a must-win game. There are no excuses, no exceptions. Don't give a crap about the injuries or whatever, or the referees. I know that Oliver is referee, that other dumbass is on VAR, but there's no excuses. You win or you get out. That's it. The margins are becoming smaller and smaller. Yeah, but then it's your fault you don't fit into those gaps, is it? Because the margins are getting smaller and smaller. What did Arsenal do in this summer transfer window to kind of make the gaps even smaller? We did nothing. Every other team did everything to close the gap between us and them. And it's shown at the moment in the Premier League standings. We are 5th behind Chelsea, by the way, and behind what's its face? And behind Nottingham Forest. That says everything, isn't it? That just shows how much we did in the transfer window and how Arteta has improved the tactics. On what he's made of Chelsea's progress, nobody cares. On being behind Chelsea on goal difference, everything is important. We don't know if we're going to go to the last day when the goal difference will be important. Well, last year that went well, didn't it? On how to handle the threat of Cole Palmer, that's the question. To be honest, I have no idea if Palmer will play or not, even though Enzo Maresca said himself that they will assess him, he will train, which 95% of the time when managers say that means he will play. And that will be the big question. Can Timber handle him? Can Gabriel handle him? Because when we played against them at home, Palmer didn't play. We pammed them 5-0, but that doesn't count. Away, he didn't play away, did he? Or he did, no, he didn't play. No, he did play. I think he did. I don't remember anymore. That's how I have forgotten how Arsenal awful are. Big up, bro. It will grow organically. For sure you have some good... Thank you. Big up, coach. Thank you for your support, by the way. Every single stream. Big up, my guy. On if the title race is over if we don't win on Sunday. Yes. I don't think about that. So what does that even entail? You don't think about winning? You don't think about titles? You don't want to win Premier League or what? And if the team, to be honest, also I don't think about that. We can win against Chelsea and Liverpool could lose to who they're even playing, Aston Villa. I think Liverpool play Aston Villa, don't they? And City play Brighton, or it's the other way around. No, who the Liverpool? No. Here it is. Yeah, Liverpool play Aston Villa and City play, at the moment, Brighton. It's 0-0, 9 minutes in. By the way, Fulham won 2-0 against Palace, right? Emil Smith-Rowe scored the winning goal. Just let that sink in. Emil Smith-Rowe left Arsenal, and oh wow, he actually is a good player. Good job, Mikel Arteta. We better not lose. Exactly. We cannot afford to lose this game. Genuinely cannot afford to lose this game. And the fact that I'm now sitting here and watching Emil Smith-Rowe ball out for Fulham, knowing how good he could be for us, if Arteta actually took time to maybe adjust some tactics to actually cater him, and he would be a very good replacement for Martin Odegaard, is sickening me. Especially that he lied to him last January, said that he will have a big role to play. He played one game, got man of the match, then a few 10 to 20 minute cameos at some points during the second part of the season, and Emil Smith-Rowe said, F this, I'm out. And now we are paying the price. Sell Emil Smith-Rowe, loan out Fabio Vieira, no backup for Odegaard, only one is Ethan Nwaneri, and given the track record how much Mikel Arteta loves to use youth in the season, no chance in hell whatsoever. Somewhere, I think Nathan was one of the... Nick was here, he said hi, I think he said he's gonna miss it. BX, I think, is watching the City game, I think. Nathan as well, and Pepper at the moment is tweeting me on Twitter, by the way. Bloody hell, I put Tete on the bench in my FPL, big regret, but my gem Evan Nielsen is on fire, 4 goals in the last 5, who knew a proper striker? Exactly, who knew? You get a proper striker in the team and you actually can score goals, right? Chris Wood would be amazing for Arsenal. I know it sounds preposterous, insane, crazy, but Chris Wood, unless Arteta asks him to defend as a six pretty much half the time, he would be great for Arsenal at striker. Lacazette, if Arteta didn't ask Lacazette to defend and just put him up top in the box so he can get the pass in the box, touch, shoot, and stuff like that, he would be amazing there. But Arteta, as Saka said a month ago in interview, said Arteta wants attackers to defend first and only then attack. Basically shows the mindset of Mikel Arteta, doesn't it? He wants everyone to defend and then only to attack. And that will never work. You can attack and defend with 11 men, but to some extent, because the way we defend, they all spend by the 70th minute, and we need to make subs to improve the team, and we have nothing there. We genuinely have nothing there. Play facing the damn goal, not with your back towards the... Exactly. It's insane, and we always pass back and forth around the box, and ring around the rosy. We play with the ball around the opponent's penalty box and never do anything. It's actually wild. Because I genuinely believe that tomorrow it will be something similar like this. This was our pass map against Newcastle when we lost 1-0. You see that Kai Havertz is playing in Odegaard's spot, and there is no designated striker at the peak of the opponent's box, or even kind of moved out forward to someone as a target man. And every time Saka and Martinelli crossed the ball when they had a chance, there was nobody in the box because Trossard plays in a 10, Havertz plays in a 10, Merino plays in a 10, and we have no one up there to basically deliver the finishing touch. And that was the issue as well last season, and the season before, and every single season. Even when we were playing free-flowing attacking football 2.5 years ago, this still was the issue. It was just the fact that we scored so many goals, and we were playing so exciting, we created, not as many goals, but we created so many chances that it kind of masked over the fact. But at the same time, if we didn't create so many chances, this would be highlighted. But the fact is we scored a lot, and we created a lot. That's why it kind of... we were glossing over this fact, but that thing was always there. It has never changed. Because Aubameyang also was playing left wing back. Lacazette was somewhere where you can see number 41 when you can see Declan Rice in there. Declan Rice in there. Lacazette was somewhere in that spot the whole game. It hasn't changed ever. Under Mikel Arteta, pretty much never has changed. That's how bad it is in a way. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad to keep possession. However, at least one player must have that license to roam, not Arteta's license to revoke. The Palace under Royal, everyone defend except Zaha. Exactly. Same goes for Alexis Sanchez under Arsene Wenger. Every single player besides Alexis Sanchez, more or less, had a designated role or position where they played most of the time, let's just say it that way. Alexis could just roam around the box, and then just take the ball and do what he pleases. And that is the case. Yes, you can maybe put certain players in certain positions, Saka on the right, Odegaard in the right 10, and stuff like that. But you need to have a player who always free roams around and maybe drags away defender, gathers extra attention. He tries to do that with Havertz, but he's not it. Because in those situations, if you basically double team him, he's screwed, and he doesn't have the technical ability to kind of maybe take on two opponents, get past them, drop a shoulder, pass out of it, and do stuff like that. And that is a big thing. You need to have a free roam type of player who is quick, strong on the ball, and with good technical ability. And we don't have that. Well, we do, but we don't use them that way. Let's just put it that way. You can want to be defensively solid, but you also have to have cutting edge and at least cause panic. Exactly. You can be the biggest defense in the world, the best defense in the world, park the bus, tank, grandma, trucks, everyone you want. At the same time, you need to have that centerpiece attack that basically feels like a dagger. Basically, you go and bang, like basically Jose Mourinho. He was defensive as hell at many times, but at the same time, he had phenomenal counterattacks. Real Madrid under Jose Mourinho, yes, the best players in the world and stuff like that, they had the deadliest counter-attacking football like I've ever seen in my life. arguably. At least as long as I have lived. Obviously, I can watch some other games before the days, but genuinely, it took them like 5 to 10 seconds to basically go from their own box to opponent's box and have a dangerous chance instantly if they lose possession. The way Ronaldo and every other winger just pushed up like insane, and they couldn't do anything because they have the ability, pace, tactical advantages and everything. It was phenomenal at the time. Havertz got no pace for a ball over top. Yeah, to be honest, Havertz for 6'4" guy is quite weak, isn't he? His balance is quite questionable. Hazard, Pogba, etc. could counter as hell, and exactly. They had chances to counter like no tomorrow. If you want to play this defensive type of football, then have your Isak up front. Then you can have your Martinelli and Saka, but give them the freedom. Give them the keys to be free roaming and attack with directness. Give them the chance. Give them that option. Not basically box them in, make them run down the wing, stop, pass back, wait for Odegaard, then wait for Ben White. Wait basically till everyone gets in their positions. But by that time, the whole defense of opposing side has set up, and you basically just kick the ball around the box again. And it's just dumb, basically, in my opinion. Now, on the team that needed reset this week, we don't need a reset. We need one particular aspect to go from 95 to 100, and I'm not going to tell you what that is. Well, pick your poison. There are genuinely insane options here. Why it's difficult to be consistent in the Premier League? Well, when you have a shit defense with no tactics, well, not shit defense. When you have shit bench with no tactics, kinda is the case, is it? I think everybody has been consistently struggling with the level that there is genuinely in Europe, playing every 3 days at that level. But that is the case for the last 4 or 5 years. Like, all of a sudden it is an issue. Yes, it's getting out of hand at the moment, but on most instances, it has been like this every single year. It's not like Champions League has been around for 2 or 3 years. It's not like international break has been around for 2 or 3 years. The biggest issue is that on top of those games we used to have the amounts, UEFA, FIFA and all them idiots are piling on more games. That's the issue. They add games, basically they stretch out Champions League with extra 2 games. It's only extra 2 games, but somehow it's again wrong. Then you have your Nations League and crap like that. That is the thing. It's not like much has changed. It's the fact that you basically keep adding, and at some point that it has to break. It cannot continue like this. On the margins are getting smaller, but yes, they are. On if clubs need bigger squads cope with injuries. With actual regulations, I think it's very difficult. If we play every 3 days, it's going to be a necessity. Yeah, it's going to be a necessity. Exactly. And that's why you decided to sell every single player from the bench almost, not to replace them. And you went from already small 25-man squad last season to even smaller 22-man squad for this season. And we are competing on more fronts basically at the moment. On top of that, we have more games in Champions League this season. Smart moves, dumbass. This is just yikers and a half. Exactly. Sterling can't play versus parent club, and I somehow feel Edu signed him, and Mike was against it. No, I think it's other way around. Hence why Edu quit and Mikel won't play him. Ridiculous. I think it's other way around. I think the reason why reason who signed Sterling is basically Mikel Arteta. Because Edu doesn't care about Sterling. Arteta does, because he has trained him, he has played him, and he has worked with him one-on-one, unlocking him. That's what we got told during PR. That's what we got told during when we signed Mikel Arteta, when we got linked first with Sterling, and that's what came out with Pep saying and from City. That Sterling's career is thanks to Arteta, well obviously KDB with back post crosses, but we don't talk about that here. With Arteta working him with one-on-one, Arteta unlocking him and making him a better player. And I solely believe that is the reason why we signed him. And on top of that, he was freezed out of the team. He had to go because he would do nothing at the moment. And that was his way out. That was the only way out. And I strongly don't believe that that was Edu's signing, because Edu also didn't want Mikel Merino, but Arteta forced his hand to go and get him. I think that also pissed off Edu to some extent. Edu's roles in certain aspects of the team, leadership and everything got reduced to almost nothing, given Arteta's new contract, how it affects certain aspects of the game, because Arteta at the moment has a hand in every single cookie jar in the team. He's basically dictatorship there at the moment. And I think Edu got pissed off with that, because he wanted to be CEO at some point at Arsenal. He saw that Tim Lewis is there, Garlic is there, Arteta is getting more power, and he realized he's never going to get that. Now the struggles in hierarchy, signing Merino that he didn't want and everything, it's complete bullshit, let's be real. I strongly believe Edu just left because all the process and everything they talked about, basically, it got done over. Genuinely got done over. Not gonna lie, I have no idea. To be honest, there is no big difference when you play him or you don't play him, because whenever he has played, he's been shit, and when he doesn't play, he's still shit, so there's no difference whether you play him or not. ESR killing it would have stepped... Exactly, and to be honest, ESR actually could have been quite great. As a replacement for Odegaard, switch up tactics a bit and try him out as a left number 8. We have seen him there to play. And by the way, only reason ESR didn't work because Arteta insisted him many times to play him from the left as well. He played quite a few games on the left wing, and that is not his spot. His spot is in the middle, carrying the ball through the middle, attacking and being direct. He's a great ball carrier. And since Emil Smith-Rowe left, we didn't have a ball carrier in the team, and now we do in Ethan Vanieri. Yes, Rice can do that, but he doesn't do it consistently enough. So basically, they have shot themselves in the foot on a very high level. How come he's... Exactly! How he's not getting injured? Exactly. And I genuinely believe that is solely because the fact that Arteta doesn't like him. Genuinely, Arteta just didn't like Emil Smith-Rowe. And the fact that Arteta wants to play a certain way, and just he didn't want to budge, change the tactics from which he wanted to play, to kind of try and cater Emil Smith-Rowe the way he plays. Because in my opinion, a very good manager gets tactics spot on in a way where he highlights the strengths of every single player while masking the weaknesses of a player by highlighting his teammates' strengths. And Emil Smith-Rowe in this instance more is a midfielder than a winger, but Arteta mostly insisted him playing from the wing or drifting wide to the wing many times. And that is not where Emil Smith-Rowe should play, and Arteta also didn't do it. And same goes for me personally about Kieran Tierney. Because Kieran Tierney is the best left back, out and out left back we have in the team, best defensive left back. He can cross, he can dribble, he can get past players, and he can actually has a decent shot on him. Only thing that he doesn't want to do is invert. And that is the sole reason why he doesn't play Kieran Tierney. Forget about the injuries. Because based on stats, Zinchenko is more injury prone than Tierney. Tomiyasu is more injury prone than Tierney. Only reason why Arteta doesn't play Tierney is because he doesn't invert. Sole reason. But when we played Kivior as a left back, and we didn't invert from the left but inverted from the right with Timber last year, when we went on those big runs after Dubai trip, then it wasn't all of a sudden a problem. When Kivior cannot invert, you switch to the right side to invert. Then it wasn't a problem. But when Tierney cannot invert, get him out of the club, basically. That's what Arteta is doing. There is massive favoritism towards certain players in the team. I strongly believe so. And arguably, Kieran Tierney is the only player... No, not arguably. He is the only player we have in the team who played in the FA Cup final when we won 5 years ago. Only player. Martinelli was injured. Saka, last game he played in that cup was in quarterfinals. He didn't play in semis or final. So Tierney is the only one. How wild is that? Yeah, who is Tomiyasu? That's also a big thing. Ramsdale was sold out too. He's gonna get relegated. What a poor player management. They should have respected him and more of that. To be honest, if they knew that they gonna take in David Raya and Ramsdale is gonna leave, then sell him that summer when you get David Raya on loan. Because at that time, all the reports, he's the most expensive goalkeeper in the world and everything. We actually could have gotten some money for him. Now, the last summer, we struggled to get him off our hands. We paid 28 million for him, sold him for 18. Like, where does that make sense? We showed the footballing world we don't want Ramsdale at our club. We don't want to play him. We don't care about him. That's what basically that message was to send. Obviously, Ramsdale saying that he doesn't get to play and all that crap didn't help. But at the same time, the club shot themselves in the foot in that regard as well. And if you want to be really pedantic, Arsenal and Arteta wanted David Raya before we signed Ramsdale. Because it was the same window. Arsenal wanted David Raya. The club said they won't sell him now, so we went for the second best option, arguably. Ramsdale. 2 years later, Raya becomes available. Oh, Arteta can get his shiny new toy. And screw you, Ramsdale, you're out. So I don't think it's only Ramsdale that he cannot focus or his interviews and everything. I think there is some sort of a massive favoritism towards certain players at Arsenal as well, from Mikel Arteta himself. Generally feels that way and looks that way as well. Don't mention Tomiyasu, I can't even remember the last he started a game. Shirt sales in Asia market. Well, at least Arsenal can get money. Plus we got also that the new training kits came out 2 days ago. More money for Cronkies, woo! Edu wanted Neto, Arteta wanted to spend under 21 Garcia. I think Edu had to go. The thing is, Arteta wanted, yeah, but Arsenal as well, they're stupid in that regard. Because Espanyol said themselves, we want 31 million, the release clauses straight up for the player, you take it or leave it. And what Arsenal does, they go in with a 25 plus 2 million offer, and they basically try to negotiate with 2 days left in the transfer window. Which club operates like that? Which club? I strongly believe that it could be that Arteta wanted him and didn't get him, but I strongly believe that there is more in other instances. I think, yes, Edu has done a very questionable job on many levels at Arsenal. I'll agree to that. He has wasted a lot of money. But at the same time, I strongly believe that Edu just got sick of Arsenal. And I mean more specifically from Arteta. Also, the money wasn't there. How comes we finished this transfer market with a net profit instead of spending money? We need to sell to sign. What bullcrap is that? PSR, ESP, and all them crap. Who cares? How comes Arsenal live by those rules like a Bible, basically? Yet other teams spend left, right, and center without any care of the world. I genuinely believe that Edu just got sick of everything as well on certain level. Even though a few weeks before he said, be excited at the end of the transfer window. The project is about to go bang a few years ago, he said. At the same time, I think he reached the breaking point because he was looking it from a side. He didn't want Merino. Arteta forced him on to sign him. He didn't want another player, but Arteta forced his hand to sign him. Then he got left hang out to dry, maybe with certain signings, obviously. He wasted some money. He got held accountable for certain instances as well. But the biggest thing was, he was looking at Arsenal and he realized it's job for the boys on that level that he wanted to be a CEO at Arsenal. He has openly said it as well. And he saw Lewis there, Tim Lewis, Garlic, and now Arteta getting more power. And he realized that he's never gonna get in there. Never gonna be there. And with the Greek offer already in summer being there, which was rumored about, and now with the Greek offer actually coming to life, I think he basically saw his way out to actually getting what he wants in the world. He's moving up, triple the salary and everything. But I think partially there has been a falling out in upper hierarchy as well. I kind of feel that way. Anyways, Odegaard is not going to national team. If he goes to national team with Norway, I'm gonna generally kick off, just saying it now. And the rest of the thing, traveling away supporters, big up to them because they should be reimbursed for every single penny they have spent on these away trips to Newcastle, Inter Milan, and all them places. Let's be real. On how Vangieri Zinchenko changed the dynamic when they come on. Who cares? Just play the damn guys. How can you say how Vangieri changes the dynamic when he plays goddamn 10 minutes a game at best? This is genuinely pathetic, embarrassing, and shambolic. I'm not gonna lie. We should have paid that. He's gonna be better than aging Raya. Raya is not that old. Plus, goalkeepers reach their prime in 30s, so there is still time for him. They could have bought young players to replace likes of Vieira, ESR. They even didn't have to buy young players to replace Vieira and ESR. We have Vanieri, but he doesn't play. Buy young upcoming talent from Europe for like 20 million Brighton. Exactly. You could go try and sign maybe another player in that midfield spot. Maybe a winger for backup for Saka. To be honest, why did we let Reece Nelson out on loan if we all knew that we don't have a backup for Saka? If you don't even play Shillings there. Raheem Shillings you don't play even as a backup for him. You play Jesus there at times. And even if you want to play Jesus at the wing, then go sign a goddamn striker. And you even didn't do that. So what are we doing here? What's the City score? Oh, City 1-0. Well, not shocked whatsoever. City 1-0. Who scored? Haaland scored. Well, shocking news there, innit? Haaland makes it 1-0 for City in 10 minutes ago. So what are the stats? I'm gonna look at the stats for the game. What are the stats for the game? Oh, City are absolutely dominating the game. Almost 2 XG, 71% possession, 9 shots, 5 on target, 2 blocks, 2 corners, 7 throw-ins. What else? 250 passes already. Meanwhile, Brighton has 29% possession, 0 XG, 0 goal shots, 0 on target, 0 shots off target, 0 blocks. They are doing nothing. They basically are parking the bus. That's what they're doing there. Yeah, Haaland. Big up BX Gunner in the chat. Big up my guy. That's another one. Nelson, Eddie, ESR, Vieira, 4 players out, Marine. Yeah, basically. That's what it is. We let go of like 5-6 players, replace them with 3, make our squad by three players even smaller than last year. And last year we didn't get injured whatsoever, pretty much, to main guys and starting 11 players. This season we are dropping like flies, and nobody's getting held accountable for that. Anyhow, what we're gonna do? We're gonna quickly do the starting 11 for Chelsea game. This game is do or die basically for Arsenal. It's a must-win game with no excuses. Let's be real about that. No excuses. So basically for me the backline picks itself. Now the big thing is we will play. Why is this dumbass here? Why is Shillings on the pitch? Partey has to start. The big question is the big question is now, is Declan Rice fit to play? That is the big question with his broken toe and crap like that. Will he be available? Because that kind of influences the whole team, and it all depends how it's gonna go from there. Will Declan Rice be ready to go? That is the big thing. Raya in goal. Yeah. Have you seen Quentin earlier this season? Yeah, I've seen. Big up Nathan in the chat. Big up Nathan. We talked about it. Quenda Links. That is I'm saying this now. He could be a very good signing. But for me, the big thing is at the moment, we cannot have 17-year-olds as backups for Saka. We can get him as the third option, but we need a proper second option for the goal for backup for Saka as well. We need someone established as a right winger, and then we have Quenda for cups. Maybe loan him out, but that definitely would be a very decent signing in that regard. But for the thing is, Quenda is like phase 1 signing for Arsenal, but we are in like phase 6 or whatever phase we are in. I have lost track with all this PR and crap like that. So at the moment we can sign him, but yeah, that's the thing. Yamal is 17. Vanieri is also 17, but he doesn't get a chance in the team as well. The thing is, Yamal, our right wing spot is Saka. Nobody's playing in front of Saka. Our number 10 is Odegaard. Nobody's playing in front of Odegaard. The two best youngsters the best youngster we have in Vanieri plays arguably the worst position you can play for Arsenal. Because Odegaard is the love child of Arteta, basically. So he's not going to start in front of him ever. Although he should when he drops stinkers. And that's his only option, but he prefers to play Trossard there. That is a big, big issue here as well. If I were to shop around, Semenyo will be much more expensive. Much more expensive. Given his performances, Bournemouth will ask about 60 million. Easily. 50, 60 million they will ask. All good. Okay. That's the thing. Remember how many people saying, oh, we need to sign a left back to unlock the team, to make the team better and stuff like that. But at the moment, currently, our whole left side is screwed. Left wing, left center, mid, left back. That whole left side is up in the air with no idea how it's gonna look. We genuinely don't know who's gonna play in those positions every single game. Either it's gonna be our right back who plays left back, or it's gonna be our left back, or it's gonna be a midfielder who plays left back, or it's gonna be someone else. Our left wing, we have like 3-4 options. Also, we never know who's gonna play there. It's genuinely, it's nuts. We will see tomorrow. We will see tomorrow. Last year we struggled against them. We were lucky to get a draw. We'll see what's gonna happen. Although we haven't lost in 6 years there, so that is what's going for us. But Chelsea at the moment is 10 times better than Chelsea last year. Let's be real. So that is a big, big thing. Anyways, starting 11. Starting 11, right? So Partey is a 6. If Declan Rice is the big question. Can he play or can he not? Because with his broken toe, I would assume he might play. But if he plays as a bastard I am in a way sometimes, I would say to my guys, go and target Declan Rice to that toe and get him off the pitch. I would do that. Genuinely would do that. So for me, Merino as well. If he wasn't ill, he most likely would play. For me, it could be... I will put Jorginho in there. Ben White, the defense stays. The defense is the defense, coach. The defense is the defense. Let's be real. I'm not going to change it. We should have convinced Williams when he had a chance. Didn't want to pay his wages. Imagine Saka, Gyökeres, Williams. That's enough. Yeah, but that's the thing. Williams and Gyökeres would be perfect for Arsenal if we played like we did 2 years ago with free-flowing attacking football. At the moment, the way we play with camping on the edge of the box, they would be somewhat restrained. Because it would be the same story like it is with Martinelli. Would be the same story as it is with Martinelli. When we played free-flowing attack in football, he was the best in the world, what everyone said. He was incredible left-winger, he was scoring, assisting, doing everything. As soon as Arteta decided to play defensive, controlled, and all that crap, he has fallen off the cliff instantly. And I think same goes for also in a way with, what's its face? Nico Williams. And Gyökeres as well. They need those players who can run on the edge and they can do dribble past. And I think if we played attacking football, they would be great. But since we play now this controlled style, we would be restricting them of creativity and chances, I think, as well. For me, the thing is, if Rice plays, he will do the usual suspects and he will do stuff like that. The thing is, Mikel Arteta is very predictable. So if everyone's fit, if Havertz can play, he will play there. If Rice can play, it will be like this. If Rice can play with his toe and Havertz with his head collision still can play because he has a nasty cut. Genuinely believe, since Arteta is very predictable, that will be the starting 11. Mid-party, Rice, Manieri, just a pace merge. Exactly, that's also the thing. But at the same time, if we play like we did 2 years ago, you could arguably say that Martinelli is a pace merchant as well. Because at the moment, the pace has been taken away from Martinelli, and he looks worse than Federico Maicedo or Stuart Downing or players like that. He looks on the same level pretty much. Yeah, the thing is, we need pace merchants, but we also need to play in a way we utilize that pace. Because Pepe was phenomenal at Lille because they utilized his pace in behind runs and everything. He came to Arsenal, kinda against his will potentially in a way, at least Emery-wise and everything. And again, we didn't utilize his pace. We still played the same way, just didn't cater him. For me, it's also how you use him. Exactly, he is a pace merchant. But if we play a way that doesn't utilize his pace and handcuffs him and strings him off that, removes it from the game, he is very mediocre at best. And that's the thing. If we sign even Nico Williams, we do the same thing, we're dusted. What's the point in spending like 100 million? Well, no, he has release clause of 55 or 50 million. If we sign him, pay him 250 grand a week, what's the point? Might as well keep Martinelli then. Even though Nico Williams has better skills and better skills than him. Anyways, if everyone's fit, this is my starting 11 for the game tomorrow. If everyone is fit. That's if everyone is fit. If Rice can play with his broken toe and Havertz is good. Now, however, if the thing is he cannot play, I would risk it for the biscuit. And I would try and play something like... I would try and play something... Whoa! How comes you didn't write? I would do something like this. Maybe would try something like this, or at worst, do something like this. That could be the case as well. That could be the case as well. Since Arteta is predictable and if everyone's available, Partey, Rice will be in the midfield, Trossard or Odegaard. If Odegaard can start, I would start him in that center role, if he can start. If he cannot, most likely it will be Trossard. That is the big thing. If Havertz cannot start, this is the attacking three for me. If Havertz cannot start. If he can, then he plays in that number 9 spot. Definitely. If Odegaard can play, I'm playing Odegaard by the way. If he can play. If he cannot, then knowing Arteta, most likely it will be Trossard. Knowing Arteta, most likely it will be Trossard. But obviously time will tell and we will see. But for me, I would love to see Monieri a bit more. Maybe something like this. But yeah. For the game, I'm going... Actually, I don't know for what I'm going. I haven't given this too much thought. Exactly, I don't want to see Trossard as well. I would be fuming if he plays. Trossard needs to hold bench for some time. Maybe come on as a sub because that's where he's the most impactful from. But at the moment, he needs to hold bench. 100%. I'm going for... Screw it, another 2-2 draw. I'm going for a 2-2 draw. Given the way we play and the issues we have scoring, and the last year how we played against Chelsea and we got super lucky, I cannot honestly predict a win. Given our form this year and everything, I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. Now the thing is though, it could change depending on the starting 11 and everything. If Cole Palmer plays for Chelsea, if Arsenal start Odegaard, and there are many instances that could change and could shift the narrative. But at the moment, I am thinking 2-2, another 2-2 draw. That's what I'm going for. Another 2-2 draw. For me, if Odegaard can start, he should be starting, if he is good enough to start. But knowing how boring Arteta is, and if he might do something like this, knowing how boring Arteta is, he might do everything we kind of expect, basically. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Big up, coach. Big up, big up, big up. But anyhow, I think on that note, we're gonna end it here. Has been a fantastic stream. It has flown by. Nobody told me that my camera is out of focus. Thank you for that. But yeah, hope you had a great weekend. Hope you enjoy football tomorrow. Enjoy football today. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in City Brighton game. Although City are dominating like crazy at the moment. Take care. Stay safe. See you all tomorrow after the game for a review and match reaction. Hopefully it could be a good one. But we don't know as of yet. But yeah, for now, take care, stay safe, see you all tomorrow, enjoy football, and have a nice evening.